Rockets been around for such a long time, and the players and the teams that came through gives you chills.
First time I watched Rockets game, I was 14 years old. It was at the final game between Rockets against the Knicks when Dream played against Patrick. And for some reason, I cheer for Rockets.
The Houston Rockets select Yao Ming from Shanghai, China.
So that's why when Rockets draft me, I just feel that must be some signs right there, you know.
With great pride, I want to introduce Jeff Van Gundy to the city of Houston.
I'm honored to have the opportunity here with the Rockets organization, with Mr. Alexander, and looking forward to a lot of success in the near future.
Rockets management is expected to introduce fans to the newest members of the team following yesterday's trade with the Orlando Magic.
I think he's the most talented player in the NBA, and we'll have a great time in Houston for a long time.
I'm just looking forward to something great happening in the city of Houston, and believe me, something great is going to happen.
The Houston Rockets, now with the second longest winning streak in NBA history.
This right here this is what it's all about.
It's almost becoming magical.
And the city of Houston has fallen in love.
Want to see some old pictures about my mom and dad?
Yeah. Where's your mom?
Right here. That's long ago, I think.
When T-Mac arrived in Houston, T-Mac and Yao really hit it off.
That's my dad.
That's him right there? That's
From very different walks of life, from very different worlds. They're both easygoing guys, and they really meshed well. There was a sense that this was now a championship contender.
The Rockets looked at those two guys together and said, okay, this is the future. Every franchise is trying to get what we now have.
Tracy and Yao was as good a tandem as you could hope to coach.
At that time, there was no more dynamic player than Tracy McGrady in the league.
Here comes McGrady. Oh, he just sucked the gravity right out of the building.
You talk about amazing players in the history of the league, he's got to be up there. He just could do everything. He was so skilled.
13 points in 33 seconds.
A terrific scorer, everybody knows that. But his greatest skill was his passing and basketball IQ. He's one of the great passing forwards to ever play this game.
Brady with a no-look pass to the Kimmy Mutombo.
Whether it was me being a facilitator or whether, I was a scorer, it was just how the game was flowing that night, of how my game was going to be.
Brady takes it to the basket. Oh, Yao Ming slams it home.
Yao is the best combination of talent and teammate you could ever hope to coach.
Yao Ming left Tony McKee nailed to the floor.
The preparation and the commitment to everyday excellence was second to none.
That was some good work right there, man. That was a good day.
He put as much as you could possibly put into it each and every day. And there was incremental development. He didn't all of a sudden just one day wake up and average 27 points a game. It was from all the work that he put in.
This is a paint catch followed by a what we call up and under. So he's turning, fakes a shot. He goes up, he goes under, and now he's going to spin back and he's going to dunk it, which requires unbelievable footwork. Up, under, spin.
Yao Ming, look at the footwork. Wow.
It was interesting watching Carroll Dawson put the club together bit by bit.
I'm excited about this year, and mainly this trade right here. Getting Shane Betty on this team, I think, is going to make us a much better basketball team.
Brady back outside to Austin for a three. Oh!
Rafer pushed the ball up the court, got you into the right sets, and defensively had very good lateral quickness. Chuck Hayes was a tremendous defender, and no one could back him down and score consistently against him. Dikembe was still the best rim protector, a dominant rebounder. you're not going to have a better backup than Mutombo.
This was a good window in Rockets history. This is in the period of where they win 50 games plus 4 times in 5 seasons.
And in that time, the Rockets really had to navigate a difficult landscape in the West.
The Western Conference was a big boys conference at that time.
Kobe Bryant throws it down.
It was very competitive.
Nowitzki fires up the 3 and hits.
I mean, you had a San Antonio team that had Duncan and Ginobili and Parker and others.
Utah had Deron Williams playing really well, Carlos Boozer playing well.
You had a Phoenix Suns team that was certainly knocking at the door. So the West was just loaded with various teams taking turns, taking shots at each other.
But you looked at this team and you go, okay, the work is done, the pieces are in place, we have 2 great players. We have a championship caliber coach in Jeff Van Gundy.
One clear.
And we have a bunch of supporting cast that is as good as any in the NBA.
And the Rockets have the home court advantage for the first round against the Utah Jazz. Welcome to the Wild Wild West, where an 8 can beat a 1 in a 7-game series. Oh, beautiful one. And the onslaught continues.
You got to a point where you had a number 1 seed, the Dallas Mavericks, lose to a number 8 seed, the Golden State Warriors.
And now the Warriors can wait for the winner between Houston and Utah. For the Rockets and the Jazz, it has come down to a 7th and deciding game as the series has shifted back to the Toyota Center in Houston, a sellout crowd.
You gotta bring the energy and intensity for 48 minutes. Hard-nosed Rockets basketball. Here we go, baby. Win on 3. 1, 2, 3, play.
This game basically defines the season for Jeff Van Gundy and the Rockets.
McGrady goes to the crossover and scores! And the foul!
3 minutes to go, and just thinking to myself, we just need to make a couple plays, get a couple stops, and we're going to win this game.
And it came down to the Rockets couldn't get a defensive rebound.
And Boozer gets it back, another opportunity for the Jazz. Okur again for 3. The Utah Jazz have won here in Houston.
You know, this team is going to go as far as I take them. And maybe I could have did more, but it didn't happen. I tried, man. I tried.
That was really a team that was built to go further and would have gone further. I absolutely believe if they win Game 7 at home, the next round would have been against Golden State. I think they would have ended up in the Western Conference Finals.
We knew we missed a golden opportunity to make a run.
You know what? There's no shortcut. You have to put your passion into the summer workout and prepare for next season.
Maybe I could have got those loose rebounds down the stretch of the game.
That was kind of the fluke that changed everything, changed Rockets' history of that time.
Would it be a mistake if he's not back next year?
As far as I'm concerned, he's still our coach, and that's all I can give you. I don't know.
Because we had such a core group that played under Jeff Van Gundy, I felt like, we needed, 1 or 2 more years with Jeff.
Jeff kind of goes into a couple days of real reflection, and the Rockets need decisions. They act quickly. He's not ready to act quickly.
I sit back and I do a lot of thinking every year. So to me, that's not going to be any different, this year.
And when Jeff Van Gundy kind of vacillated, do I want to coach? Do I not want to coach? Well, the Rockets moved on.
And by the end of the week, Leslie Alexander's interviewing Rick Adelman, and nothing was going to change it by then. Rick's going to be the coach.
Jeff and I had a conversation, and he gave them the opportunity to go out and talk to people, and my name was mentioned, and he said, I told him you'd be a great candidate. And so that's how it all happened. I would never have interviewed if I didn't know that Jeff was on board with it and everything else.
The biggest thing for me was that they had Yao and they had Tracy,
And those two guys were the catalyst for me taking the job. I just felt that that team could be special.
My time here was great. I coached with great coaches, worked for great people, and had players that I admired greatly. But playoff losses will always haunt you.
Baseball's always been the most numbers-driven game, and statistical analysis on top of statistical analysis. Les Alexander thought, there may be better ways to build better mousetraps. After serving his apprenticeship, if you will, under Carroll Dawson, Daryl Morey was earmarked as the next leader of basketball operations.
But Daryl comes at this from a different place. There's no sort of athletic pedigree, if you will.
He was a guy whose athletic claim to fame was he was in the top 100 ping pong players in his age group when he was growing up.
Daryl is small part, all these new metrics that I don't understand.
The questions we tackle are the same. What gives us the best chance to win the championship this year and in the future? Gathering as much data as possible from anywhere we can get it, from overhead cameras to hand-coded things to check our assumptions and hopefully make better decisions.
Future first for 25 is what I was calling right. I bet Portland would do this. Yeah.
It was all new to me, and he had a lot of facts that I hadn't heard of. I guess you call I was old school.
Brooks will change our team, right?
I'd move up to get Brooks.
It was a tool, and if he could give us that information, then it was very beneficial.
BJ right there.
Daryl also combines an old-fashioned scout's trust of his eyes.
This guy here? Yeah. Yes. Right? Quick, fast, shoot it.
The Houston Rockets select Aaron Brooks from the University of Oregon.
They did a lot of scouting. Rick was in Portland while I was playing Oregon, and he already knew what my game was.
I saw him play a lot, and I felt he could really be a big part of what we were doing.
It's really getting to know the player from every perspective, on the court, off the court, the medical side of it, the background side of it.
Hours and hours of scouting and watching tape. And I watched Carl Landry in the NCAA tournament and New Orleans when he played.
Having the opportunity to showcase my talent and craft was an amazing opportunity, and I just tried to make the best of it.
And so the statistical study and the relevance of it to scouting, Daryl was a hybrid.
His mindset is, give me more. Give me more information.
In other words, Shane Battier was the perfect Daryl Morey player.
Shane, we were able to give the whole fire hose of information.
Give me all the data you can. They talked about basketball in a way that no one had ever explained basketball to me before.
He studies like a student studies for his finals. Game plans, tendencies, analytics.
My goal was always know an opponent better than he knew himself.
Kobe likes to go here. Well, I'm going to cut him off there so that he has to go to his counter move.
If I knew a player was 20% worse going to his left hand versus his right hand, and I made him go left every single time, but he scored points on me, which happened a lot, especially with a guy like Kobe, I was okay with it.
He knew they were going to score, but he just kept at it. That's really hard to do for a player to have that attitude, but Shane did it night after night.
So the marriage of the Rockets math club and Shane Battier was a really good fit.
Walton to Bynum. Mutombo! Second all-time shot blocker in NBA history.
Dikembe was an amazing player. He was pretty set in how he was going to play, and there's nothing wrong with that.
They always tell me that he's the man with the numbers, the man with the statistics, blah, 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 blah.
Well, Dikembe always wanted to make sure after he blocked a shot and got the rebound that he needed to do his finger wag to the crowd. So we had an ongoing battle to get him to outlet the ball before he did the... We were like, you can do the finger wag after you get rid of the ball. But he liked the visual of the ball here and him tucking it. So.
But do you plan on coming back next year?
We will see. My options always open, either play or retire. was like, I don't think I'm coming back, I'm done. He said, no, I need you in the locker room.
Depembe for me is like a master, a teacher, teach us how to discipline ourselves, how to play in the right way, and how to set our mind to prepare for the practice all the game.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. It was just tough to say no to so many close friends that I have here.
He liked being on a team. He liked wearing his incredible suits and getting ready to go to the game and after the game. He liked it all. He liked being on the planes. He liked being one of the guys. He was very tight with Yao.
I look at him as my youngest brother, but he look at me as his uncle. He say I'm the same age as his father.
Are you ready to start 33 games again?
I don't know what I got left of my tanks, but I'm too old to be going out there and playing 37 minutes again.
One of the key guys we targeted was Luis Scola. He was a overseas draft prospect for the San Antonio Spurs.
He was a big deal, and he had played on an international stage.
I always dreamed about playing in the NBA. It was almost an obsession for me.
He's property of the San Antonio Spurs. There's certainly some rumors going on about some other teams wanting to obtain the rights to Luis Scola.
Well, the key is checking if there's any developments on Scola, because he's negotiating with the European team right now.
He has an offer on the table from them, and so he's probably waiting on San Antonio to match or make a competitive offer or trade him.
The Spurs are facing a deadline where they either have to make a deal to sign Luis Scola or trade him to a team that will sign Luis Scola by a certain date, or Scola would have remained in Spain with Tau Ceramica.
The Spurs had a pretty good four at the time, and Tim Duncan.
San Antonio didn't have the needs of what I would bring, and for a minute I thought I was never going to make it.
If Scola is traded, then that increases the probability Scola comes to the NBA.
Right.
The Spurs are very close to a deal with Cleveland, and then that deal falls apart, and Daryl Morey jumps in.
And then all of a sudden, the Rockets shows up, and they trade for me, and they sign me a minute later, and I was here, and I was really, really excited. It was career-changing, of course, but life-changing too.
We're here to introduce Luis Scola to the Rockets family. The only one more excited than us is Luis.
Argentinian Brinks job by Daryl Morey. Spurs have made many errors the last 15 years. They ostensibly gave away Luis Scola to the Rockets.
Basically getting Scola for Vasilis Spanoulis.
I was thinking, these guys just made my dream come true. I'll have to really, really work hard to pay back.
The guys, the faces that we have in here is just, the talent that we have is unbelievable.
When we brought all those guys in, I said this is going to be a fun training camp.
One thing we learned very quickly about Daryl Morey is that he loved talent. And so training camp was really, really tough. You didn't bring it, there's going to be someone right behind you that would take your place.
I thought I was going to come to the NBA and just take over. Get to training camp, Mike James, Rayford Alston, Luther Head, John Lucas, Steve Francis, all point guards, combo guards.
I had a pretty open mind as to who was going to play and who was not going to play, and Rayford just outplayed everybody.
You know, Rayford got the job, rightfully so, because I felt like Rayford was the guy to be able to control where the ball goes. He had a great feel for the game.
Basketball's a way of life for us in New York City. It's something that I was gravitated to since the age of 5.
They all up on the top, looking, want to be skipped.
When I realized the NBA was a goal, I realized at a young age. That's always the ultimate dream. I really had the ability to make it that far.
Skip takes it. Skip!
Rayford every day brought an enthusiasm and an unselfishness that was contagious. Really fun to be around. And over a long season, you can't have enough guys who bring an enthusiasm and a humor to keep the mood as light as possible.
Good call, Rayford.
I missed it.
Yeah, you missed it, right? Whatever. Do it.
Just under 25 seconds to play. One away to finish opening night. A chance to tie or take the lead. This is Fisher for a two. Oh! Here comes McGrady. A screen by Yao. It's Battier for three. Oh, he got it! What a shot by Battier! Timeout Los Angeles.
Oh my!
We actually got off to a quick start.
6-1, feeling really good about ourselves.
You want to try to separate yourself early, just to give yourself the margin of error for mistakes, or if you hit a slump.
The Rockets now 6 straight losses. Granted, the schedule has been tough, maybe as tough as anybody in the league, but 6 losses now has them under 500. What's the biggest problem right now?
Well, I think their defense has slipped a little bit.
Rick Adelman coming on board for all his credentials, there's inevitable transition.
It's the first experience I've had with this team, so I have to find out how different guys respond.
He had to deal with some challenges. When you're trying to get to know a new team, getting them to try to buy into change is not the easiest thing.
I was still trying to get over not having Jeff Van Gundy around.
And both coaches are different. They have a different style.
Jeff Van Gundy was about defense, defense, defense.
Very emotional. Every game was Game 7 of the finals.
When Rick came in, it was totally different. Rick was a lot more laissez-faire. We had a lot more offensive freedom.
But he was reworking the offense to more of the motion game, more of the corner-driven offensive game.
Now posting up again against Bonnie. Feeds it to Battier. And the Rockets maybe overpassing a little bit.
It really took us some time to adapt to a new offensive system that Coach Adelman put in.
That's an offense you just have to run. It can't be a called play and, okay, execute. I stand here and you have to be there. No, it's read, react, and move. It can't be mechanical.
Well, another turnover by Houston. Memphis on a 7-0 run. And Rick Adelman needs a timeout.
Don't stop here. Get to like right here.
What?
On that pass? Because he could have stole it, you know what I'm saying?
He was ready to play somewhat, but not ready for the speed of the game.
There were things defensively Luis had to get used to, especially out on the perimeter. That gave him problems.
Parker in the corner, and Scola with the foul.
I let him through, man. I let him through. I didn't even touch it. I did like this.
I was playing, but I was struggling. The game is different, so you gotta adjust, and the rules make the game more open. So it's more challenging to defend. It's a little bit more easy to attack.
And so he wasn't getting the minutes that he probably could have gotten because he was getting in foul trouble and sitting.
You have a number of young players, their first time on the team, their first time in the NBA, and it was a learning curve.
Well, the Rockets now 2 games under 500 again, just unable to put together any kind of a winning streak.
And then you have Tracy McGrady's knee flare-up, and he misses a month.
Houston trying to stay competitive without Tracy McGrady, sidelined with that bruised left knee. And T-Mac, under Jeff Van Gundy, we knew that this team had a defensive identity. How is this team different, and what is the identity under Rick Adelman?
Well, we're still soul-searching. We don't know our identity now. You know, with 6-1, and ever since then, we've just been up and down.
Reynolds in the air. Oh, he got it!
We just hovered around 500. We never really got it going. We were just kind of mediocre.
We lose 3 or 4 straight. We win 2 or 3. We didn't know which way we were going.
You don't have any time to adjust. You don't have any time to get yourself going. Teams are going to leave you behind.
It's a fine line between having confidence and losing your way. I think we just lost our way for a bit. And throughout all, Coach Adelman, stressed, stay the course, play together.
When it gets tough, as a team, there's no way around it but to stay together. From the coaches all the way through the players, everybody has to evaluate themselves as to what they can do better, not looking at other people. What can you do better, and stay together as a group.
And the Rockets, again, having difficulty here in the 4th quarter.
Offensive boards. You gotta have the offensive boards. If they're bigger and they're longer than you are, you gotta get your body into them. Simple as that.
Losing is hard, and losing when you have high expectations is even harder.
and somebody's been tossed. That's Yao Ming.
It's a little frustrating because he played a good game, but he come up short.
The Rockets come in and play the Celtics as tough as anyone, but that man right there just was not going to allow the Celtics to lose the game here tonight.
Really abandoning their offensive plays. They're just running first guy open to shoot.
Another steal. Another turnover by Houston. Another layup by Philly.
Rockets just not paying attention. They're not stopping the ball. They're not blocking out.
It looked like there was not much focus. And I was worried. And I asked myself, I said, what is happening here?
The Rockets let one get away here at home. And you can see the disappointment on the face of Yao Ming.
Us blowing that lead with the personnel that we had, it was just frustrating, and we had a meeting.
And Yao Ming and Chuck Hayes got up and spoke.
Late in the game, we couldn't click. We didn't know what play to run, who we want to give the ball to.
At that time, it was an unusual thing for Chuck to call everybody out, and it had its impact.
He's the guy who really earned his credit by his effort.
What a great play down on the floor by Chuck Hayes.
He earned the respect from every one of us who played with him.
I let him know how I felt. Yao did the same thing.
Play hard, bring the effort, bring the attitude to the court.
He expected a high energy, high level of performance from us every night.
He was a man of few words. He didn't always address the team, but when he felt strongly about something, he spoke up and said his piece.
It really was an important day.
We had to make a run to be where we needed to be, and if we didn't make it right at that moment in the season, it wasn't going to happen.
Now you're only one game over 500. You thought you were going to make some hay at home. That now you've gone 0-2 the last two games, and you got San Antonio coming in Saturday night.
We've written them off. We're looking, to the draft, to who's going to get fired, who's going to get traded, and all that.
T-Mac will work on Bowen. T-Mac to the rack. He's back. Good to have him back. Luther head. Goes for the reversal. Now with the rebound. He slams it home and draws a foul. What a move by Yao Ming. Bonner with the jumper. And he missed it, and the Rockets win the game. Blocked by Yao. Blocked again by McGrady.
Right then, I was thinking, this team's going to get going. This is a team that's turned it around.
And really getting caught up to our defensive philosophies.
It's all down there. You defend them, you make your tough shots on them.
Rick did adjust his offense, and it took a while before they could run it without thinking.
Down to Yao. Yao with a great pass to Scola.
Nice pass, Yao. To the left.
He could see something building. You're going to have a force there in Yao and Tracy.
Knowing how to get his guys easy shots, knowing how to have guys move the ball.
Because with Yao and Tracy, everybody was going to get open shots.
Back outside, Wafer with a three. Got it!
There it is. Rockets by 4, 19 and 3/10 seconds left.
Other guys have just stepped up, and we're playing much better as a team.
When you're a coach, it's got to be as good a feeling as you can have. That you're asking guys to do different things, and they're okay with it because they love being part of the team, and you also saw flashes of greatness in all of them.
Look at the energy that these young kids are bringing to the game.
I knew coming off the bench that whatever I could do for the team was going to be a bonus.
Rockets player of the game, Carl Landry and Luis Scola, as those two rookies held the Rockets together in the fourth quarter.
They trust me, they believe in me, and from that point on, I started playing better.
My role was to be a spark off the bench, get T-Mac the ball, get Yao the ball.
I want to make every shot tough. I want every shot to be like, man, that was a tough shot. I really had to work for it.
5 seconds, down to 4. Durant on the drive, blocked out of bounds by Hayes.
I wanted to prove something. I wanted to impact the season and this team and be a part of it.
We won 4 straight. and then lost. So we were playing better. We were finding our identity out.
They were a better team by the end of January.
January 29, 2008. They're 10th in the West. The Rockets are holding Golden State. And they win a game. Something began to click, and it became magic.
Aaron Brooks, another pass to Landry for the reverse slam. And the rookies are taking the game away.
We all were playing for something. We all were playing for one another. And I think that's what gave us the edge.
The camaraderie you form with that group. Guys that you just love to be around day in and day out.
Tell it like it is, y'all. Tell it like it is. I close it, y'all.
You closed it. No, it's still under the top stick.
You got it, Ola.
Yeah.
The bonding and the friendship that was taking place in this team is very good.
It's not something you can manufacture. It just has to come together organically and naturally.
This is really Mr. Mutombo. I think the veterans is what made it a great place, having guys like Shane Battier and Dikembe Mutombo. And as a young guy, that's the kind of team you want to be on because you learn so much.
A Taco Bell? You don't get tater tots Taco Bell. Don't they?
Everybody on the team got along. We were like brothers.
We were together on the flights, off the floor, in the locker room.
It was just a great atmosphere to be in.
AB was a jokester. Carl's the same way.
If I want to come over your house and I need to get in the house, doorbell.
They really united together, and it was fun to see them grow.
You know what? When we play together, when we share the ball, play to win, we're as good as anybody in this league.
The Rockets win their 7th game in a row.
Gum this time. Yes. And it's free every single night. We don't ever pay for gum. Sometimes I even take some home.
We won 7 in a row. Felt good about us turning the season around. Figured win number 8 would be one that we should get a home game against a Sacramento team that wasn't very good.
This would be a nice victory to go into the All-Star break with 8 victories in a row.
The Rockets led by 18 going into the fourth quarter.
Artest will fire it up and hit.
And Ron just goes nuts in the fourth.
Pass it out and Artest steals the ball. Artest is taking this game over by himself. Puts up a long 2 and it's a 1-point game. Trying to stay with him. Artest with a fadeaway. Got it. And the Kings have taken the lead. Unbelievable collapse by the Houston Rockets.
They take an 87-86 lead.
So Rick Adelman says, I need a shooter out there. So Novak has checked in.
I hadn't played much that game, I think maybe 5 minutes total. And it wasn't until late that I even got in.
See, they're not going to leave Novak. They're not going to let him beat them.
It was really a play drawn up, I think, for Tracy.
Here we go. McGrady picked up by Artest. It's one-on-one right now. McGrady lost the ball, gets it back.
Tracy drove.
I drove the ball going to the hole.
He started to go to the middle. It was really all up to him what he was going to do.
And Brad Miller was guarding me, and he kind of helped a little bit too far down on T-Mac to try to stop him.
And I saw Steve Novak open.
He just circled behind Tracy.
6 seconds left.
Passed the ball out the end.
Hit him at the top of the key.
And I was pretty open, and I just took a deep breath. I knew it was coming my way, and I tried to just shoot as normal a shot as I could.
It's on Novak. No! Steve Novak with his only basket of the game. Oh, Steve!
I was actually standing in the corner. I got down on one knee and pumped my fist.
He got bailed out by big shot Steve Novak.
And made his biggest shot as a Houston Rocket.
Rockets beat the Kings 89-87.
We can lost that one.
Immediately when we got in the locker room, Chuck Hayes, he stopped everybody. We were excited, and he said, "Did anybody see what Novak was saying on the way back down the court?" And he said, "Steve, what exactly was that?"
The most memorable thing from the whole thing is that after he hits it, he shouts into the camera. Plus, Steve puts on the most awkward white dude celebration in the history of celebrations, like missed high fives, bad chest bumps, tries to jump into the crowd but fails because he can't jump.
I think I did have the emotion of obviously hitting a big shot, but also of wanting to be a big part of the team, and I was pumped at the time, I think.
That was really all Tracy and Steve making that play happen. And to Tracy's credit, he trusted him and threw in the ball.
I've always said, if this guy has any room, it was money.
If you saw him in practice, there was no one beating him in a shooting drill. Nobody.
These rookies, Scola and Landry and Aaron Brooks, they reminded everybody, hey, this is a pretty good life. Playing in the NBA, this is pretty good. They come in, they're so happy to be there. The enthusiasm rubs off on everyone.
And Scola with a save to Luther Head.
This kid never gives up on the play.
I was really excited to become starter, and I was really worried trying to keep my job and to stay in that spot.
Luis was just an unbelievable basketball player. A guy you want in your foxhole who just was tough, was gritty. A lot of opponents didn't like him.
And Scola and Barron going at it.
Luis was very crafty. Crazy footwork on the post.
He used to whip his hair around, and he had this crazy spin move that worked all the time.
I wasn't going to get it back if I threw the ball to him on the post, because I just call him the black hole.
His English is actually very good. He got old seasons of the show Friends on DVD, and that's how he learned a lot of his English.
I liked the show so much that I just grabbed a dictionary and I started watching the episodes, trying to figure out what they were saying. And the first episode took me like 2 hours, and the next episode was shorter and shorter, and I get to a point that I was speaking. So I own my English to friends.
I need a beer. These guys, you play with a beer. Man, this is easy. I need a beer, chips.
Man, if you don't get along with Luis, then something's wrong with you.
This is a key phrase. This was in a movie. Think boxing. Eye for an eye, 2 for 2. Think of that's snake eyes. No. Oh. This is the eye of tiger. Eye of a tiger. Okay, but who says that eye of a tiger? Okay, look. He fought Rocky. Yes.
Scola really making his mark in his rookie season in the NBA. 28 years old from Argentina. And the Houston Rockets, their 10th straight win. Right now they're in the 7th position in the tight battle in the West.
We won some games, we beat some teams we're supposed to. Let's test ourselves against the top teams.
The Houston Rockets have won 10 games in a row, a 9-game road winning streak. The Hornets lead the Western Conference 22-5 in their last 27.
New Orleans at the time was first in the West, and they were smacking the Rockets around in those years with Chris Paul, David West.
Look at the defense being played by both of these teams. It's just stifling out there. Boy, what a physical game this has been.
I think the officials and the players know that this is a playoff-style game.
Tyson Chandler sort of bops his way down the court after a dunk, and Rafer Alston goes up and shoves him.
Now Chandler and Rafer Alston had some words.
Yeah, and they both got technicals. It's a double technical.
And the Rockets just...
Here's T-Mac running the car! Tracy McGrady all the way to the basket. McGrady right back to Rafer. Extra pass, Battier for the 3. Got it. And the Rockets are putting on a clinic.
We went on a roll, like a crazy offense spurt.
T-Mac has just been on fire tonight. Now takes it to the middle with a jump hook. Well, Yao Ming is just taking the game over. He and T-Mac.
So you just want to keep rolling.
We didn't mind who scored the ball.
The Rockets are a well-oiled machine.
We just wanted to win the game.
That's where we saw that it had all come together. They beat New Orleans in New Orleans by 20. And I remember being in the locker room afterwards as Shane's doing his icing and the media's kind of waiting to talk. And I looked at Shane and I just made a look like, whoa. And he said, I know. And he knew what I was thinking was, this thing is going to go.
Right about then, you realize, hey, we got something here.
Playing a team like this in a back-to-back situation with the best record, yeah, we talked about making a statement.
We've been playing great defense. We've been holding opponents under, 90 points.
You really saw where T-Mac and Yao were really at their very best together.
We were clicking on all cylinders.
We have really reached into a level that we have that chance to approach something big.
The balance of power just continues to stay in the West after Pau Gasol goes to the Los Angeles Lakers. Shaquille O'Neal then dealt to the Phoenix Suns, and now today Jason Kidd on his way to the Dallas Mavericks.
You could never stand still in that conference because somebody around you was always adding another piece.
We needed to address some needs offensively.
And that's when we made the Bonzi Wells trade and got Bobby Jackson. We thought Bobby would be a very good fit for the stretch run, someone we liked and Coach Adelman was very comfortable with.
When you have a chance, you're familiar with a player like him, just seemed like a good fit, and hopefully that's what's going to happen.
Bobby's played for Rick, so Bobby's going to fit right in.
I just wanted to come in and just be myself.
Bobby Jackson to the basket for 2 and 1.
Because I already knew the offense, so I just stepped in and showing us some things throughout the offense that's open.
It demonstrated some of the things that were available if you ran that offense right.
Here's McGrady setting up Jackson for another one. Oh my goodness. Welcome to Houston, Bobby Jackson.
It's good to have a guy like that backing up Rayford, who's playing outstanding this year. And I think we got it together, man. We're really playing for each other.
12 and counting for the Houston Rockets.
12-game winning streak, beat quality teams. The guys are knocking down shots. So the mood now is everybody is having fun, everybody is confident, and we all believe now.
Yao Ming is out for this season with a stress fracture in his left foot.
Season over? Like that. Like that.
Yao Ming has had increasing soreness in his left ankle.
The first time I feel that foot a little bit wrong is against New Orleans.
Yao's going in. Well, I don't think he's hurt, but if he's done for the game, you might as well get him back there and let him ice down.
I never had that kind of feel before. I feel a little bit strange. Said I need to take a look.
He was in our office, and I told him that it showed something we really weren't expecting. He was clearly disappointed.
I was stunned for like hours. Just sitting thinking, what is the next step? Maybe there's a mistake.
This morning I feel so hard for walking in this building. I know I need me and coach need to tell my teammate the situation.
We came into the locker room, we had a big meeting, and
right before practice, like maybe 20 minutes before practice.
We get there, so okay, I was like, what's going on?
When Coach Adelman talked to everybody,
yeah, will be out.
Everybody is like quiet.
It was a real shock to our team.
The spirit of the team goes down, the energy goes down.
We're mostly bummed for him because we know how hard he worked, how much he put into the season, to our team, how much he cared about what our team was doing, especially winning 12 in a row.
Because Yao is such an unselfish guy, he felt like he let his teammates down.
His reaction was, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I got hurt. Even though no one around here could have even thought of a way to blame him.
So you have that side of the devastation for Yao. And then, oh yeah.
The games of the 29 Olympiad in 2008 are awarded to the city of Beijing.
Part of Motherland China's whole plan in exporting Yao to the NBA, letting him develop against the world's best, was to lead China in the Olympic Games summer of 2008 in Beijing. And Yao pretty much knew, I have to get healthy and play in those Olympic Games.
They told him it was an 8 to 11 month rehab process. Well, the Olympics were in August.
And there was definitely a countdown of, okay, what is the time frame? Can he be back?
It's just a terrible sequence of events for China and for the Rockets.
It's a pretty big swing from a high to a low.
There was no thought that they could be real significant without Yao.
I don't see how they make the playoffs. I just don't. The Houston Rockets were the hottest team in basketball. It's over.
Mark Cuban joins me once again. Hey, Mark, what about, I don't know if you saw the story, but Yao Ming is going to miss the rest of the season. He's got a stress fracture with his foot.
What?
Reaction to that? Yeah, he's out for the rest of the year.
Yao is out for the rest of the year?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Rarely is there a night when something other than the game is the big story, but unfortunately tonight, that is one of those cases. Yao Ming will not play the rest of this season.
Do you really have enough to, this is what we're thinking at times. Do you really have enough on your team to pick up what Yao brings to our team?
We had to be picked up somewhere.
I get a call from Coach Rick, and I go in there and they say, you're starting. Whatever your name is called, you have to be prepared to go and fulfill your duty.
I didn't know if he could help us, or especially when he's playing behind Yao, it takes him a while to get going.
It was no way, I'm telling you the truth, that anybody, even from outside, could have walked in, break the spirits, because the momentum was so good. I convinced everybody that we can do it.
We're still a good team.
As long as everyone do their part.
Back to blocks. Blocked by Mutombo, and he says, get that stuff out of here.
Mutombo is still a great defensive presence.
Mutombo with another block.
I could not believe the guy. He just played at such a level for us.
And he was dominant. It was like it was 1995 all over again.
It was all passion and energy, and he was running around in the wrong place half the time, but it didn't matter.
They just really changed the complexity of our team.
Our defense immediately went from number one in the league to like one of the best defenses ever put on the floor.
The Wizards have managed only 18 points and were less than a minute from halftime. T-Mac to the rack.
And we're so fortunate that we have Dikembe there. It really set a tone for the game and for the rest of the team.
To ask Dikembe to step in for Yao Ming and play that well was remarkable. And Dikembe was in such good cheer about it, and he had so much fun. It thrilled him to be able to be part of that at that point of his career.
The spirit that Dikembe plays with and brings to the gym every day really reignited that team.
Every player in the locker room was doing a Dikembe Mutombo impersonation.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Come here, Rook. Let me talk to you, Rook. Just ref the game. Don't worry about us. Don't worry about us. Just ref the game, ref. Luis Escola, my friend from Argentina. Hey, my brother. You know you got to help Yao. Don't bring that stuff in here at all.
Dikembe, he's the greatest. He's the greatest. He's the absolute greatest.
He changed how our team approached games every night.
The Rockets just started routinely destroying people.
I ain't no superhero when my money's down to zero, but my heart is big as
Game to game, it was like, we got another one, and all of a sudden it was in the teens, and I think that was when it kind of hit us, like, wow, we haven't lost in a month.
T-Mac into the middle, fight the pass and put it up in air. In the corner, takes it to the basket, makes it wrong. He said, get that stuff out of here.
Everything was falling just in the right place.
And you're blowing teams out with Tracy McGrady having great games.
It was just like waking up in the morning and you going to work and every light is green, your coffee's good, and everything is just going your way.
It's a snowball taking on more heft, just careening down the mountain.
Down to Landry. Rangers steal. Wait for Austin. All the way to the basket. Skip to Malou.
We were winning by double digits every game, and you could just see the confidence in our team just keep growing.
It was almost like going to a park and you knowing you're the best player at the park.
Who's in our way? It doesn't matter who we're playing, doesn't matter where we're playing.
We knew we were going to win.
Rockets looking to make it 17 straight wins. Oh, the lob to McGrady, thrown by Alston.
Are you guys surprised at what you're doing right now? 17 in a row?
No, not at all. We all believe, man. When you got a roster full of guys that really believe in themselves, great chemistry amongst the team, and we go out and play extremely hard every night, I'm not surprised.
I told them last night, I think I told you guys after the game, you're 3 games out of the number 1 seed and 2 games out of the 9th seed. I mean, that's what it is. And so you better win games.
Every night we won a game. We had to come in the next day and practice like we didn't even win a game.
But we were still in the middle of the pack, so it was like if we lose, we drop down to 7.
Winning 50 games didn't guarantee you a first-round series.
You look at the standings in the Western Conference, they shift on a nightly basis.
Well, I think it's safe to say that after winning 5 straight, Suns are on a roll.
San Antonio won 11 in a row, Houston 17 in a row, you guys 12 out of 13. Have you ever seen the Western Conference this tough before?
No, never. No, I've never seen it like this before. I mean, it's it says a lot when a team wins 17 straight games and it's still the 5th seed.
That's just how competitive it was and how close it was from 1 to 9 in the West.
That was the motivation. It was try to get in the playoffs.
Back and forth we go. 2 teams trying to claw their way in to the playoffs in the Western Conference in the tightest race we have ever seen in this conference.
We joke all the time that we're in the NCAA tournament. Every game's a 1-game tournament.
Because you could have a bad week and a half and go from 2nd or 3rd to 7th or 9th.
Phoenix dropped to 6th in the West. Phoenix and Dallas are 6 and 7. Wow.
And Yao Ming's absence, Tracy McGrady has upped his level of play tremendously.
Tracy was in the middle of everything they did, and he was ready for that. And he wanted the team on his shoulders.
Brady for the basket for 2.
More was asked of him. When Yao went out, obviously he had to distribute and he had to score more and he had to do a little bit more of everything.
Rockets with their biggest lead of the game. 5 points. Alley. McGrady!
Tracy McGrady was terrific. He was dominating the game.
At that time frame, he played the best basketball of anybody that I've seen.
McGrady with 31 points.
He was so good. He was making everyone around him better.
T-Mac drops it off to Hayes. Another assist for Tracy McGrady. All the way down the court to Luther Head. What a great pass that was. McGrady from the deep. Oh! And the Rockets are red hot.
When I made that shot, I knew we was going to win that game.
It's for the Rockets, their 18th win in a row, and they move to number 3 in the Western Conference. Unbelievable stuff. 19 straight for the Rockets, who continue their spectacular run.
Nothing is quite surreal as the 19-game winning streak that the Houston Rockets are on right now.
They've done it a lot with defense, and it's just unbelievable. It's the most unbelievable thing I think I've seen in a long, long time.
Jerry Lucas penetrates, gives to Jackson. Chamberlain blocks it.
When you look at teams that have the historic streaks, and we can go all the way back to the 1972 Lakers.
Slam dunk, Wilt Chamberlain.
The Lakers streak of 33, mind-numbing.
They had a loaded team. Chamberlain and West and Jim McMillan and Gail Gurgis.
And then on the Bucks team that won 20 in a row.
Up and in. He's fouled. Alcindor dunked it.
You had a young Lou Alcindor, and you had Oscar Robertson, some of the most celebrated players in history. Those teams you just kept expecting to win.
They won world championships. You know, we didn't.
With the Rockets, amazingly, it was, will they keep winning? How do they keep doing this?
You look up and down that roster, and you have to think, what, how are they doing this?
How are they doing this?
How are they doing this?
Right. Everybody thought the Rockets were going to lose every night.
They weren't all the greatest players of their generation.
Especially with Yao out, we weren't expected to do that.
We're pretty much role players besides Tracy McGrady.
We couldn't explain it, and so we didn't try to explain it. We just enjoyed it.
Let's play hard! Play smart! Play together! Let's go! 1 on 3! 1, 2, 3, wait!
And the Hawks are running 4-on-2. Lob to Josh Smith, and he throws it down. A 10-point lead.
Well, they didn't think we were that good. They didn't see how we were able to win 19 in a row. Grind-out game. Both teams struggling to handle the ball, to score the ball.
Down to 2. AC Law to the basket. It's wiped away by Betty Ann Hayes.
And so you put a little more mental energy, physical energy, a little more emotion into preserving the streak.
Hayes got it out to Rafer on the run. 3-on-2 fast break Houston. Rafer with a big move to the basket. And Scola with a putback.
I've been around the NBA a long time, and there are a bunch of great players that in the last minutes, they don't want the ball. Tracy wanted the ball.
T-Mac. Tracy McGrady! Oh, with a big-time 3! And look at the excitement of the Houston Rockets bench.
How sweet it is!
20 in a row,
20 in
Gino!
a row.
Oh,
Rockets
baby!
20, man, oh, man.
20 in a row! The Lakers, the Bucks, and now the Houston Rockets, the only teams in NBA history to win 20 games in a row.
I was just really happy. You could see the guys are, I mean, it really means something, to get this and just keep not only the streak going, but just keep moving in the right direction.
Rick Adelman's always been one of my favorite coaches in the NBA. He did such a masterful job of retaining what he thought was helpful and instituting what he thought was necessary change to try to push the team to a higher level.
Coach Haldeman was just a very laid-back coach and just lets his players police themselves and have fun on the basketball court.
We want to ask you guys what you are feeling about practice, about the season.
His offense centered around everyone. It wasn't just based for one person. His offense was for all 5 guys on the floor.
He's probably one of the first coaches that gave me the opportunity to come out and play my game. And I want to be able to learn from one of the best, and he's been the best for a long time.
That's why we all played really hard for him, because we knew he gave us tremendous freedom and ownership and responsibility, and we didn't want to let him down.
He coaches with such success, but also with such humility. And you don't find success and humility going hand in hand in pro sports very often.
Does it surprise you at all being able to do this without Yao?
Yes.
I traveled around in the States and with a couple of doctors get advice and I decided that's going to have a surgery.
Yeah, it is swollen.
Huh? Swollen's fine.
Yeah.
No pain. That would be swollen. When we started running, anything will be swollen anyway.
The incisions look good though. It's all healed up pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good.
In the meantime, we search a plan to how to stay in the shape, how to get even just a day ahead of a schedule.
Ready? Go. Full sprint, full sprint.
He had way more pressure from the national team to get back and play. The regular rehab time that he needed, I think he needed more rest at the time, but the Yao Ming in demand was so much at that time.
We just cannot miss this. We cannot miss this. This is my duty right here for my country.
He will be the face of the Olympics, regardless of Kobe Bryant and LeBron James, all those guys. Yao Ming will be the face of that, and if he can't participate in that, that is a huge loss.
Obviously, I'm not happy with the situation I have right now. Cannot play because of the injury. I'm proud for my teammate, everyone. Hopefully, we get another 20 streak next season, so I can taste what it's like. all I can do right now is do whatever I can do, prepare for next season.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Worrell. Good to have you with us here again tonight as the Rockets try to make a little more NBA history. They'll be going for number 21 in a row.
Richardson ties it up with a three. They're not going away. Carl Landry, could you use his inside play right now?
Oh, right away, because he comes in producing.
When he went out with Yao already out, well, this streak's probably about to end because they can't afford to lose him.
We saw Mike Harris' season had just finished in China. Mike is a guy who had been in our training camp, a local guy from Rice we'd had an eye on.
Daryl Morey ends up calling me, and he asked me, was I ready? I was like, yes, sir, I'm just leaving the gym.
Mike Harris had just checked in to start the fourth quarter.
Stepping out there on the court that first game against Charlotte, I was aware of the situation, but I never really completely played in the NBA games.
Harris again, missed it.
McGrady grabs me and he's like, hey man, relax, just play, shoot the ball.
Muhammad on him, and Mike Harris with a flush.
And after that, I just realized, hey, I'm a part of this team, I'm a part of this family.
Mike Harris takes it inside.
Who else hasn't made a dramatic contribution during this streak? Hey, Mike Harris, just rescued from playing pro ball in China.
Mike Harris finished it off.
And when he got his opportunity, man, did he shine.
We were throwing him the ball on the block, and he was going to work like he was a team.
Brady, Pattier inside. Harris puts it up.
And we can plug in and play anybody into the lineup, and they would do amazing things.
Listen to the applause for Mike Harris.
It was an unforgettable moment. It was one of those things, words can't really express how truly grateful I was.
Everybody on their feet. The Rockets making history tonight. The Houston Rockets now with the second longest winning streak in NBA history. 21 victories in a row.
The Houston Rockets have been nothing short of sensational. They have been nothing short of awesome.
I want them to win every single game.
Look at you.
Every game.
You've transformed.
I think the fans appreciate what we give to them, and we did appreciate what they gave to us.
Yeah, how does it feel? 21 straight.
I don't know, man. This right here, this is what it's all about. Our fans making this kind of noise. We putting this type of effort on this court. This is unbelievable.
And well, the Rockets own this city, lock, stock, and barrel.
There are not many times that a pro sports franchise has a city in the palm of its hand.
The Rockets, since January the 29th, have moved from number 10 to number 2 in the Western Conference.
And here come the Lakers.
The Los Angeles Lakers visit the Houston Rockets this Sunday. I might fly out to Houston just to see that game. That should be in every home in America this weekend.
There was a lot of build-up to that game, a lot of national attention.
Sunday game of the week on ABC.
Everyone's here.
Jeff packed in the arena that day.
Because, you got the Lakers.
Wherever they go, it's show on the road, because you got Kobe Bryant.
The streak is the story here in Houston. Kobe will be jacked up for this game without a doubt.
I knew that Kobe Bryant was coming in single-handedly on national television to end the streak.
Kobe's talking smack. The streak is going to end tonight. So we suited up. Let's go. Let's go for 22.
Pattier on the floor, comes out of there with it. Kobe now, McGrady goes and gets it.
It's like a rugby scrum. You see the energy across the board.
Fisher down to Kobe for the slam. McGrady going inside, drops it off to Shane, back out to Alston. He'll fire up a three. Oh!
the atmosphere was bananas.
The fans were amazing. It felt like we were playing in front of about 100,000 people.
I'd never seen nothing like that.
It was liver than a playoff game.
Harris inside. Hayes got it. Harris with the rebound and the putback.
Who are these guys?
Draper back to Luther. He'll use the glass. Look at the ball movement by the Rockets.
Mainly, I was a facilitator that night because I was getting double teamed.
Tracy kept feeding me the ball. Tracy was going to his right side, throwing the ball way back to the left.
Kicks it back out. Alston for three. Bang! From way downtown. Kobe Bryant with Shane Battier guarding in. Battier, one of the best defenders in the NBA.
It was the most amazing challenge individually as a defender that I've had in my career.
Shane Battier competes on every possession.
The defense that he played on Kobe that night was spectacular. Everybody knows that thing that Shane does is put his hands in his face.
Just another great contest.
It wasn't about how many shots he made.
Bryant, hand in his face again. Tough shot from Kobe Bryant.
I just wanted him to work for every single look, every single touch, every single catch that he got.
It's not about his numbers. He is in the right place every single trip. Bryant, tough shot, falling away. And that ends the first half, and a standing ovation for the streaking Rockets.
The Rockets are at their best when they're shooting really well from outside. How do you slow that down?
I tell the guys not to worry about threes. They start to fade as the game carries on.
They're going to come out. They're going to be very aggressive this half. This third quarter, they're going to try to get to the basket, get to the free throw line.
Fisher. Inside. Odom. Bryant. Nice move. The Lakers very quickly right back in the game.
Somewhere along the line, we were going to crack.
Rockets struggling right now here in the third. Fisher knocks down the three. 12-0 run to start the period.
I remember looking at Kobe and looking at all these guys, and they thought, well, this is over now. They just expected a really difficult game.
Get our heads up. We have the lead. Come on, man. We have the lead. This is our game. We've got the lead. Now let's go.
Rafer, set, hit, finally, Rafer Alston gets the Rockets on the board in the third.
Rafer Alston, what can I say? He was shooting from all over the place.
Rafer, set, hits. Alston another three. Bang! Rafer Alston lighting it up.
I shocked myself. I know I shocked my teammates. I know I shocked the Lakers.
Alston another three. Hits another. 8 3-pointers, a career-high 30 for Rafer Alston.
I tried to chip in and hit some timely baskets here and there.
Brady. Houston's MVP steps up and hits another. This crowd is absolutely delirious. Bryant, jump shot, blocked. Battier got a piece of it. The quintessential team putting in one of those total team efforts here this afternoon. Bobby Jackson from the deep. Bobby Jackson! Getting it done!
Thanks to Rafer, to Bobby Jackson knocking down those shots, and we pulled it out. And Kobe thought he was going to end that streak, but we got to 22.
And the Rockets can just dribble this one out.
Rafer Alston with it, left side angle, Rafe with the ball.
I was trying to take the shot clock down, but he was pressuring me. I had a little fun, little playground moment.
This is Skip to Malou time, 22 straight, and you're having a heck of an afternoon.
He wanted to bring Skip to Malou out, and him and Sasha Vujacic got in a little scuffle.
Rafer getting in the face of
Vujacic, yeah.
Rick Allen walk all the way up.
And Rick Allen comes out and tells him, now, hey, be cool.
He went a little skip to my Lou, and then he lost his mind.
And I looked at the score, and I realized, you know what? We really got this game.
There you go!
The second longest winning streak in NBA history is still alive, 22 and counting.
With tonight's win, your Houston Rockets are in first place in the Western Conference.
It just shows you, through chemistry, hard work, and passion, how much you can accomplish in this league.
For us to be in 10th and go to first place was unbelievable.
That's really difficult to do, and I think you got to give that group
so much credit.
After that game, I was exhausted. So I'd given everything I could to guard one of the greatest players of all time in a game I knew he really, 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 really wanted.
There aren't many regular season NBA games in your life that you remember for years and years, but that's one of them.
Those are games you as a kid, you're in the park by yourself and you're just acting like you're one of those NBA guys and you're making all these shots. It's a dream come true.
They played really well, but it wasn't, wild celebration locker room. They were proud. When that big spotlight came to them, they showed how they had done it.
The Rockets, what they're doing, no one would believe. If you tried to tell us, two people who have watched the NBA.
We had them out of the playoffs.
So we had them out. Every coach had them out. And now they're in first place with 22 in a row. If somebody had said to us that the Houston Rockets, in the middle of the greatest 9-team horse race in modern NBA times, would lead the horse race even for a day, we would say, get out, you're a moron.
I've been in the NBA since 1984. And the Rocket streak is the second best thing I've ever seen. I consider when the Bulls won 70 games, I was like, wow, there's no NBA team can win 70 games. But to win 20 games, obviously they won 22. This is remarkable, and I'm going to enjoy it.
Doug, what's the atmosphere like in Houston right now?
Oh, it's crazy. I think it harkens back, and I think Kenny can appreciate when they won back-to-back championships here, Ernie. This city is alive for this team, and this team right now is the toast of the town.
Does it bode well for Boston that they've only lost 4 times to the West?
To KG, to Sam's going to take it. Got it!
We just had a big win in San Antonio the night before. It was on for back-to-back game.
Eddie House, when we got on the plane, he says, hey, we're going to go mess with Texas this whole trip. Coming to that game, we wanted the opportunity to break the streak.
It's the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference, the Boston Celtics, against the number 1 team in the Western Conference, the Houston Rockets. A playoff-like atmosphere in Houston tonight.
The place was abuzz. I mean, they had this long winning streak. We felt like we were the best team in NBA.
Well, we already got it started here. Rafer Alston and Rajon Rondo. I guess you could say this is going to be a heated game here tonight.
T-Mac, he'll pull it up just inside the three-point line. Barnett trying to pull his way in, and he does.
What made them great was their defense. Best defense that I faced probably in my career that night. The speed they had, the length they had, they were just rotating.
Look at all the green jerseys, 3 of them around him. That leaves Scola wide open.
Double screen for Pierce, banks it in, a 3, and we're tied at 40.
Number 1, we got to slow down. All right? Great energy out there.
Doc Rivers just told us, hey guys, they are a good basketball team, but we're going to attack them. Attack them.
Rondo back the other way for 2.
Perkins a screen, Pierce the 3.
And Cassell, and now the Celtics are starting to pour it on.
When the dam bursts, sometimes it just completely bursts.
Pierce sets up Perkins for the reverse.
Boy, did the Celtics put the beat down on him.
Garnett takes it in high and comes down hard. The big ticket.
The timeout in the fourth quarter, you knew. It wasn't happening.
We had nothing left in the tank at that point.
The excitement went too high. We lost a little bit of grip on what we were trying to accomplish.
I think the emotion of the Laker game, finally getting to first place, it all finally caught up with us. And Boston was really, really good.
Beat them in Houston, I think, was special for our guys. I thought it reinforced to us just how good we were.
You do realize how difficult it is trying to squeeze out just one NBA win.
I tell you, the fans here really showing their appreciation at the last time out on their feet.
They've won 22 consecutive games, second all-time in the history of the NBA, and they are given a standing O as they go to the locker room.
Definitely nothing for us to hang our head because we accomplished something unbelievable.
the Hornets beat the Rockets tonight, they will be in first place in the Western Conference.
Stojakovic wide open.
You knew that there were no easy games, especially on the road in the West.
Nash. Oh, man. That's a killer.
That's the way it was. If you had a bad week, you're out of there. You're going to drop a few places in the pecking order.
The Golden State Warriors went 48-34. It didn't make the playoffs. Denver won 50 and was the 8th seed. The Western Conference was a brutal battle royal that season.
They are definitely loud, and we are ready for Game 6.
Those Utah teams are really good. It's tough to play in Salt Lake City. And you either get it done or you don't.
Houston led by McGrady, trying to hang in.
McGrady basically wore out in that Game 6, and that was it. You know, he was pretty much done, and they were done.
That is all as the Jazz win Game 6 convincingly and move on to the next round to take on the Los Angeles Lakers. The Rockets go home.
I know Tracy and Rick Allen and those guys were terribly disappointed. But I think when they look back on it, they had been part of something magical.
It's disappointing not to win the first round and not be playing, but, you know, like I said after the season, I was really proud of the team, the way they performed.
You know, for us to win 22 games, compete against, you know, a great team that was in the Western Conference Finals. You know, I'm proud of what we accomplished.
And the Hornets take this series from the Dallas Mavericks.
This is Heartbreak Hotel for the Phoenix Suns once again.
And the Jazz season comes to an end. The Lakers are headed to the NBA Finals.
The Rockets capped their winning streak against the eventual Western Conference champion. It took the eventual NBA champion to end the streak.
The Boston Celtics are NBA champions once again.
I think that Yao, Tracy McGrady era will always be, in this modern NBA, one of the great what-ifs. What if they had stayed healthy? What if they had been able to play in their primes for a series of years together? There's no question they would have been in the championship mix.
We very rarely have had the two of them healthy. The team has such potential.
Again, you get all those injuries, and you're playing the Lakers in the second round.
Lobs it in. Puts it in at the buzzer.
They still find a way to take it to 7 games against the team that would win the championship.
Are we embarrassed? No, we're not embarrassed. No, Houston played a great game. You give them some credit, I mean, for real.
That was kind of what that era would become, where they can't close out Game 7 at home and then never being the team they could have been again. It's almost like reading a book and then tearing out the last chapter. You never got to see, could they have done it?
And the Miami Heat's winning streak continues. The race to history is now at 27.
People always ask me, like, what's different? What's similar? It was a little more explainable with Miami Heat. When you have LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, you can understand what happens when you play really good basketball, and you can sort of explain 27 in a row.
Every time you see a team win like that, it's a reminder of how hard it is to do and how proud the Rockets should be of what they did.
And that's what that streak was about. It wasn't this roster's so much better than everybody else. It was, no, this team is getting everything it can out of itself.
And there was just a togetherness about that team on and off the court that the only way you could understand how they were doing it was to be around them.
I'm always able to look back at, each pitch is a picture from one game of the streak. And it starts right here from January 29th and goes all the way to March 16th. So sometimes I'm on the computer, I get to turn around and look, I'm like, wow.
Friends come over and they see that and they ask questions like, man, what was it like being out there with those guys? It's just, to even be a part of this, it's something that you can truly cherish forever.
You know, you get kind of spoiled your rookie year going through a 22-game win streak, and you know, you don't realize how hard it is to come by. Nothing's like winning 22 games straight in the NBA, where you play with some of the best athletes in the world, some of the best coaches and teams.
I'm so proud of that streak because it was an amazing team effort. Rafer had a game there, and then Bobby Jackson had a game there. Mike Harris had a game here.
Everybody kind of had their touch on that streak, and I think that was what was really cool about it.
And that's what it makes me proud. You know, somebody would say, hey, remember when the Rockets won 22 games in a row? And they will start naming players, and I'll be one of them. And I think it's now when you really have a good sense of what it really meant.
What better place we'd rather play basketball at that time than having it in the Toyota Center where our fans was just at their best, man.
And the city was buzzing. Everywhere you went, you know, everybody was just proud of what we did.
That team really was special. And you look back on it and you just say, boy, that was really something.
That's the best team I ever had because that is such a great achievement for us. We fight for that. We will fight for it.
The stories, the guys, the camaraderie you build, the relationships you build, man, something we'll talk about forever.
It's about just believing in ourselves. There was something was burning inside of us that was keeping us going.
That win streak and at that time just has a special place in my heart, and I won't forget those moments that I shared with those guys.